Well, thank you for invitation and for listening. So, I've been working for several years on the ideas of situated design, i.e., design that takes into account the volume, the type of resources available, the means of transformation, as well as a precise localized use considered as a temporary solution, whatever the lifespan of the product. This leads us towards a local, even tailor-made design in line with a particular client or use. I precise that this approach is rooted in the philosophy, is partly rooted in the philosophy of Etienne Souriau, revisited by Isabelle Stengers and Bruno Latour in their reading of the different the modes of existence, les différents modes d'existence. Souriau's concept of instauration frames creation as a dialogical process between material, technical environment and the actor. It can be a designer, a craftsman or a craftswoman, an artist, who helps the work of art come into full existence. There is no hierarchy between art, craft and design, but for him only varying intensities in the mode of existence in the in French, it's œuvre à faire. It means the work of art you have to do. Oh, something like this. So in this process, designer, craftsman is only having a correspondence. We can also speak about in gold, and it's the same idea. And the shape of the material emerge from this process. It takes time, and you have a kind of dialogue. And so a form in the making shaped through tensions and an arrangement produced in and by exchange or correspondence. This idea resonates also with Michel de Certeau's art de faire, art of making, which describe discrete yet inventive practices through which users or designers bypass constraints to invent situated uses and practices. That means if there is no difference for us in between art, craft and design, there is no really difference in between the user and the designer, because the designer is a user as well. And there is a part of creativity in the daily life for users, opportunity. Sorry. So I will speak today about Round the Earth. This is a method of building houses using earth without supporting, in with any wood, without mixing it with straw or wood. It consists of beating prepared earth, layer by layer, between planks to same thickness as ordinary walls. When it is beaten, it is in this way, it binds, becomes more consistent and form an homogeneous blend that can be raised to any given height for houses based on François Cointereau, who is one of the historical specialists of the rammed earth in France. Our aim today is to use the example of the rammed earth as an example of design in situated approach, inventing new ways of doing things as project progress, renewing the techniques and aesthetics of an ancestral material while developing unique economies that emerge from and are interwoven into existing structures before finding a form of economic autonomy. Our analysis will take into account the designer's attitude, sensitive to the questions of what is possible in a given situation by making. Following a brief historical review, very brief, of traditional round earth technique in the field of construction, we will look in more detail at the shift over the last 10 years or so in the use of rammed earth in interior design. Oh, I miss a picture. Sorry. So I had a world map, but I don't know, it is not here, for example. So in the world, raw earth is used in construction quite currently over all continents. Rammed earth ou pisé is more specifically present in Africa, in North Africa, West Africa, in Asia also, in Himalaya, for example, because it's very, it's a technique very interesting where there is no wood, only earth and gravel or stone. And in France, we can find it around Lyon in the northeast and on the northwest. So around the Rhône and the Forez, etc. So this is a recent study by Crater, who is an association that work on this material for several decades. Here you have some old representation. Here you can see the mix that's used in Pisé. You have clay, you have sand, and you have different type of gravel, because the idea is that in the void between the big gravels you can put medium gravels, and then in the void of the middle gravels you can put small one, and then sand, and so it's very there is no void left, and clay is used as a glue. It's very strong, and you don't need to have a lot of clay to glue gravels. So you can see here the man who is rammed earth with the, I don't know in English, pissoir en bois. And you have regional difference. Here is a type of technique from Lyon. Around Lyon, here is in Bugey. So here you can see that you have support and this way. So you have no hole left in the wall. Here the banks are supported by this stuff in wood, and then when you go up, you left this small wood hole that can be full, no problem. Afterwards. So historically, it's a very old method. It's inherited from Romans and Greeks. And so some say that in the Lyon area, this traditional technique has been transmitted through centuries. But what you are seeing here is from some books. The one by François Cointreau, who developed at the end of the 18th century a rational method for render's construction. You can see some of his course of rural and practical architecture lesson, where he drew technical schemes. So the idea of Cointreau is that the pisé must be used all over the places because it's a very interesting materials. It's limiting the risk of fire in the countryside, what was a problem actually at the end of the 18th century for the government. It is also considered as hygienical and healthy materials because what you can see as well in between the lay here is, I don't know in English, I have forgotten to translate. C'est de la chaux. Comment tu dis de la chaux? It's calcary stuff that, hein? Lye? D'accord. Okay, lye. It's lye. You can maybe help us. It's a hydrofuge. Hydrofuge. It's resist to fire and to water. It pushes away the water in the mix. And so you can see it by layer as well, in the layer. So, pardon. So, and it's convenient as well because it's easy to use. It was easy to use in agricultural activity because you can construct big buildings. I don't know if it's a good term, but to store to store food and to live aside, so it's more convenient and more, as I said, hygienical. And it's also an economic construction. Pisé only costs labor and excludes all kinds of materials, all kinds of carriages, and all kinds of preparations. It has to be spread. That was saying Cointreau at the end of the 18th century. So it tried. I will get more quickly. So he tried to. He creates a new method with a prefabricated pisé. At this time, with the means he had, he only makes small bricks. But we can see that today this idea is coming back in larger proportions with a process that was. Sorry, I had a paper, but I lost it, so I make this way. It's Martin Rauch, an Australian ceramist and engineer who has worked on the row house and on the prefabrication of pisé since 1996, taking up Cointreau's idea, which with today's techniques allows for the compression, transport, and installation of much more massive modules. He envisioned a profitable economy for the process. In 1999, Rauch set up Lemton Erde to develop a market and market the product. A video produced and posted online by Amako in 2016 showed the mechanization of prefabricated rammed earth. It shows the rammed earth work and assembling for transport once the mold have been removed. The still fresh wall is cut with a disc saw, dried and assembled on site with mortar and joint made with the same hand-poured mixture in the interstices. There are no visible joints left once the assembly is complete. This method offers the same structural strength as in situ rammed earth, but it also saves time and energy and lowers carbon costs. So this is a technique that is very interesting for the ecological issues. But what interested me more is the shift from the architectural place to the interior design, or the pisé used for furnitures or arrangement. So this is one of the first moment that we can show rammed earth at this century. Beyond its ecological benefits, the contemporary use of pisé reveals its aesthetics and ethical potential in sustainable design. A shift is occurring from structural use towards interior and furniture design, where pisé inspires new material economies. This evolution highlights not just technical performance, but new ways of making and perceiving matter. Aesthetics now converge with ethics through use, process, and the actors involved. In 2017, the rammed earth shoe rack created by Atelier Cara for designer Katia Prager for luxury brand Chloé was one of the first examples of the use of the rammed earth technique in interior design in France. On the right, we can see the wooden mold lined with a sheet of metal that was used to round the piece visible in the image below. It's Timur Ersen from the Atelier Cara workshop. Is from Roanne. It's an historic place nearby here. One of the historic place of traditional pisé construction in France. He trained with Rauch in Australia and then traveled around the world in Turkey and Mexico to enhance his competence. And then when he came back, he ran a series of workshops at Le Domaine de Bois-Buchet in Charente in 2016, and then in Brussels with BC Materials in 2019, helping to introduce pisé into interior design. So it's a special technique. It has to be renewed to be used in smaller pieces. The association of rammed earth with the luxury boutique at the previous example reveals both its potential as a sign of ethical commitment, promoting more virtuous decorative choices, and its place in craft culture specific to luxury, while at the same time offering a field for plastic innovation based on the tension between the roughness and the raw material and the refined finish of the brand's product. So here with this workshop, it's a workshop with several students. You have BC Architects or BC Materials with Timur Ersen, and there are working on a module used for construction, but at the end of the workshop, they find this form particular, and they present it as a stool, as you can see in this image. And so they use this technique to produce interior design. What's interesting in this case is that the mold that they use is a cylinder. It's in it's a cylinder. You know, it's PVC, huge for canalization, and they put a half cylinder in another cylinder with C-clips. And so they can ram, and reuse the mold. That's one of the problems with the serial production in Pisé, because you can see that this one is a mold in wood, made of wood. But after that, if you want to make several pieces, you have to reinforce the mold, because with humidity, the wood begin to wave. So the design of BC materials is adapted to this type of technique, to the solutions, technical solutions they found to produce small series, you can see. Amaco is another producer of interior design in Pisé in France. In fact, it's a more bureau d'études. It's a technical office that accompany designers, architects. So here you have a version of Pisé that is close to terrazzo. So you can see that the Pisé can be used in several aesthetics, and that's also something interesting to be reused in some other project, for example. Yes. Here you have another example from Amaco, where you can see that they have to find a technical solution, very precise and very technical, so to develop a new aesthetic. And then it's not simply bringing a technical from the architecture to another type of use. It asks a very long work of mise au point, of the elaboration of the mix, because different color means a different earth, and each earth is a proportion of clay, of sand, or gravel. So you have to make a lot of taste, and then it's very long to dry Pisé. So here you have some other experiments on the aesthetics. So I go very quickly. I go quick. Sorry. And here in France, you have Thériault. It's also interesting to see that the previous example I show you was more some kind of technical offices that accompany architect. Here you have a producer, you have a small firm that decided in Lyon to produce prefabricated rammed earth blocks larger than the sum of Cointreau, because now you can do it with a mechanical way and use big trucks and stuff like this to assembled on site. And now they are developing a new line, and they are working on the Pisé in interior. It's tailor-made design, but it's interesting because they had engaged a student alternance, je sais pas comment on dit, internship student in design to develop this line. So that means that there's also a new economy around the Pisé, and there at the beginning they had technical tests, and now they can hope to make it rentable. Je sais pas. Profitable. Yes, thank you. So I will stop here. I have said the most important things.
Thanks for this presentation. I ask the first question. What are the main technical limitations that need to be overcome to expand the use of remote Earth?
There is a question. I mean, you have the fact that is still tailor-made, but for interior design, it can be not a problem. It's because it's it's seen with the architect, and it's often for firms that want not so much greenwashing, but lose their carbon costs. It's in the serial development of small furniture that Pisé you have to find more technical solution. It's because it's linked with the economic model, because if you want to produce serial furniture, you have to use more solid mold. It's in acier, steel. It's very expensive, so you have to produce a lot of this furniture, and so you have to find investment. That's the point. It's money, and if you have money and time, you can find solution. No problem. But that's what is interesting. That its solution can be found with very ruse, enfin des trucs with ingenuity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You told us about the great qualities of Pisé, but we are not using it that much for buildings now, so it must have some constraints maybe when using it.
Yeah, well, I'm working with students about the incoming of the introduction of raw earth in interior design. Pisé is very resistant. It's very heavy, but you can repair it easily. That's what is written on this panel. So it's another way of being with your furniture. It's not, and what's the point is what is the image that people have of this material? How can we change their mind about this material? It's the same with bamboo. It's the same with several materials that we have to reintroduce in the interior, in the house. And it's the hygienic problem in the modernity that is the matter.
Hi, thank you. Just a couple of questions. One's more of an observation, but the first is a question. Can I just ask, when we look at it in its building form, where in France traditionally would those buildings have been located? Would it be in the drier regions?
Yeah, there was a problem when Quattro had the in 80 and something had the year of the Napoleon, or I don't know who it was actually. They said yes, it's a good idea to build Ramders houses, but in 1875 in the area of Toulouse there was a big flood, and all the houses were gone. So here the tradition is in the forest, so it's it's the beginning of the Central Massif, and the Bugey is the beginning of the Alps. So it's a bit in high. It's not.
So in some ways it's protected because as a material. Yes. I see your uses to go in interior design, I think are fantastic. But on an exterior, we have a similar material for houses in the UK called cob. Yeah. But their straw is introduced into that as a binder. But they have to have a supplement, whereas yours would be exposed.
You can see here.
Yeah.
On this picture, you have a soubassement. In stone.
So you've got a stone plinth.
Stone, yes.
To rise
and
it
then
up.
you put your yes,
so
and then you have a big
canopy.
Yeah,
over the
it's
top.
a chapeau et bottes. You have a hat and and boots.
Thank you.
I was gonna ask a similar question, but I guess more about structure. We saw a couple of like multi-story buildings.
Yeah.
Is it being used as structure, or is it?
It's structural, yes.
So, but like it's not reinforced or anything, is it?
No, I asked.
Okay.
I asked them, and they said no, it's structural, and it's currently used to build. You know, in very dry areas, they can build several stage houses.
Floors, yeah.
It's not a problem. After you need to, it's I don't know.
Okay, and they're not thinking to add a metal structure inside just to.
Metal is not a good idea because with the heat it will move and then it will crack the rounders. Rounders is interesting as well today for the inertial temperature. It stay cold or it's warming doucement, slower than concrete or other materials.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I have one question about design. This technique is usually used in outside places.
Yeah.
And when you take it to make design interior, there is some norms, like when I think a bathroom, there is humidity and things like that. Is it recover resin or something like that?
So when you melt it with lye, that's why I said c'est de la chaux. C'est hydrofuge. That means that the humidity doesn't go into the material.
Yeah, but for around, it's not like sometimes when you have rugs or things like that inside the house, sometimes there is humidity inside.
So you can put every enduit, I don't know. Like, I don't know. You can put what you want. You can put what you want on the pisé, and there are some technicals that can close the small hole, les pores de la of the earth, de l'enduit, and it's on en met dans les douches. You can put it in the shower. Sorry. I'm sorry.
So that's easy to sell for designer or architect. They don't need to have norms to put it inside buildings.
It's resistant to fire, and it's very interesting as well for this problem. Compared to wood, I mean, there is not so much norm. I don't think so.